Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. Well, the man who was sparring heavyweights, the man who could go up to cruiserweight, go up to heavyweight, and beat Alexander Usyk, has now just got beaten by a light heavyweight. That light heavyweight, ladies and gentlemen, as you should know, if you're a BWTM sports fan, is Dimitri Bivol. Now, for those of you who don't know, Dimitri Bivol is no stranger to our show. He is no stranger to BWTM sports, and he's definitely no stranger to me. His boxing ability is clear to see. He fought the best available light heavyweights in the world. That includes Joe Smith, Pascal, Chilembe. The list goes on. Just look at the guy's resume. Now, when I spoke to Bivol, when I saw him, I knew he was going to go on to be a very special fighter. As with Alexander Usyk, as with Terence Crawford, as with Tyson Fury. Okay? So what I did to remind you of Bivol was to show you the video of our interview with Bivol those years ago. And I put it back on the channel for everyone to see Bivol, to introduce you to Bivol. Now, you're telling me he fought Kovalev, like if he wants to tell me, a faded shot Kovalev, yeah, who had a good jab, not as good as Bivol's. And Canelo was losing the majority of that fight by just a left jab, not with a right hand now, a left jab by a faded guy who was friends with Canelo. You're telling me that suddenly Canelo's going to be able to get past that jab as easy as everyone thought he could? Wrong. Some of you even fanatical, not boxing fans, fanatical, not fans, fanatical, thought that he was going to walk through Bivol. This is a man that Joe Smith Jr. couldn't walk through. And you're going to tell me that Canelo's going to do that. Okay. See, say what you want about BWTN sports. Oh, you get the predictions wrong. But I got the big one. The biggest one in there. And I'm so glad. I am so glad, because boxing today is full of people that don't understand the sport. Okay, I may get predictions wrong based on, guys' performances, stuff I can't control. But it was clear to see the quality of Dimitri Bivol. Now, for me, I think boxing media and journalism should have no bias. What should happen is that fighters, people who report on boxing or want to call themselves serious journalists, need to kind of take their emotions out of the way, and then you sit down and look at the two fighters and what they do, particularly if they're not getting paid by the promoter or the promotional company or by Canelo himself. I understand that. But why would you just talk a whole heap of rubbish just to agree with the masses? You're meant to be educating the masses who don't understand the sport. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I warned you about Dimitri Bivol. I told you about his jab. I said the only concern I have about Bivol is how he makes the weight. But if he makes the weight, fine. Bivol's the man. Bivol's the man. I've said he's the best light heavyweight in the world. To be honest, Canelo would have had a better chance against Beterbiev. I'll tell you why. Because Beterbiev, or Beterbiev, however you want to call his name, cannot fight off the back foot. That's proven. And his chin's not the greatest. It would have been better against him. When you got power punchers like Beterbiev, you push him back. You force him back. And Canelo could have done that. Beterbiev is not the fastest in the world. And Canelo would have been better advised to have fought him than to have gone and fought Bivol. I would, if I was advising Canelo, said you go for Beterbiev. You might be big, but you're faster than him because you'll be able to outmaneuver him. Your hands will be faster than him. You'll get to the punch, and you're able to slip his big shots and get in with your own. And that's why I would have taken that fight. Okay, that's why I would have taken that fight. But oh no, I'm glad. And if that's a loss for Matchroom and it's a loss for DAZN, even better still. Too damn arrogant. Too damn arrogant. And I told you all before when Canelo started talking about, oh, he's now got a vegan diet. I said, no, it's not that. I said that Bivol did not agree to his terms and conditions. His terms and conditions were, I want you to drop 5 pounds or 10 pounds and fight me. This wasn't Callum Smith or Caleb Plant or Billy Joe Saunders. I told you, Smith and Saunders were both guys who were guys in the pasture being waited to bring in to get battered, slaughtered. That's what it was about. They had no star power, right? And they had very little to offer as far as I was concerned. Smith, as a fighter, he's okay on the front foot, but he's limited when you push him onto the back foot. There's not much coming back. He'll just stuck up on the ropes. What's his name? Saunders, indisciplined, weight going up and down, too chaotic outside the gym, ring. He's never going to beat Canelo. If he was going to beat Canelo, he would have beaten him earlier in his career, yeah, because of the problems he probably would have caused Canelo earlier on. But too indisciplined. After the Willie Monroe fight, after the fight he fought against the Canadian puncher, after that fight, he should have gone and fought Canelo then. So I said this, and I say it before, and I'll say it again. I said Canelo, this is Canelo's best fight since Floyd Mayweather, not Gennady Golovkin. Not Gennady Golovkin. His best fight since Floyd Mayweather, because he was technically better than Canelo, right? Just like Floyd was technically better than Canelo, right? So that's what you've seen tonight. You've seen a guy that's technically better. And the old saying, a good big un will be a good little un. And Canelo's not great. He's a good fighter. And with a guy of, less than 20 fights, or he's got 20 fights, Bivol, that's just beating Canelo. And if they're arrogant enough and ignorant enough and stupid enough to go and take a rematch with Canelo, to take a rematch with Bivol, Bivol will beat him again. But this time he might even stop him. Because Canelo can't do any better. That's Canelo. He's not going to switch up and change strategy. That's just the way he fights. The first fight Canelo fights against a guy who's going to hit him back, not stand for the nonsense, and is not going to just hand the belt over, beats his ass. You check this out. And you want to call this guy pound for pound great. You want to call this guy pound for pound great for what? Oh, you go and beat Usyk, you do this. Man, get out of here with that rubbish, man. Get out of here. If that's what Bivol did to him, and that's at light heavyweight, can you imagine what would happen if that was at heavyweight? Man, listen, Usyk would play with him, toy with him. Look what Usyk did to Joshua. And Joshua, physically strong Joshua is. Canelo's going to do that. Oh, yeah, Canelo's been fighting heavyweights, sparring heavyweights. So freaking what? Bivol does the same thing as well. Bivol said, yeah, you can spar aliens. I don't care. The thing is, you've got to tell the difference between a guy who's hyping a fight and a guy who can actually fight. Bivol had a history of fighting big dudes and going toe-to-toe with them. Oh, he didn't do well against Craig Richards. Okay. We'll see what Craig Richards does against BWTM, shall we? Before we pass judgment. Listen, Canelo can go and fight BWTM if they want BWTM to move down to super middleweight. He should stay at super middleweight, yeah? Stay at super middleweight. Stay in your lane, boy. Stay in your lane. Bivol is the man. He cannot make adjustments. He can't make adjustments. That's how he fights. And that's how he's been fighting for years. And what adjustments can he make? He's not going to be stronger than Bivol. He's not got better boxing ability than Bivol. He's not going to out jab Bivol. Look at poor man, old man Kovalev. Go and look at 11 rounds of that fight or 10 rounds of that fight. He was beating Canelo on just a jab. The thing that made this fight so bad for Canelo was because he thought a guy was physically bigger and stronger than him and had good boxing ability to back that. So that's it. I don't want to hear no crap. I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear about Canelo was injured. I don't want to hear, well, he changed his diet. I don't want to hear zero excuses. No excuses. People give it to me when I get a prediction wrong. I'm giving it to you when I get it right. We know our boxers, the amount of fighters that have come through that we've interviewed them before they've gone on and become. It's all right getting around and interviewing people when they're champions. It's all right sticking a microphone in a guy's face because he's established. But establish yourself as a channel that interviews guys before they become champions. How many guys have we interviewed on this channel before they've become champions? Do I have to go on? Terence Crawford, Keith Thurman, Alexander Usyk. Can I go on? Tyson Fury. And that's Tyson Fury on a Skype call. Before anyone could do Skype calls, he was calling us on Skype. Shall I continue? Shall I go on? Do I have to continue? So, yeah, we're blowing our own trumpet. And to those people out there, and you know who you are, who goes, hey, why does he have those people on the channel? Because they're all good enough to become world champions. Even Bermain Saverne, he's not a good champion. He still became a world champion. He still became a world champion. He still became a world champion. So I don't want to hear any crap from anybody. I don't. And Uncle Bashir, we're going to have a conversation yet again. You've been tutoring me and mentoring me since 2013. This is going to be a conversation and a half, Uncle Bashir, I tell you. Because I just couldn't see how Canelo was beating Bivol. And these people who actually thought that Canelo was going to run through Bivol, I can't understand. Where was that coming from? Run through Bivol. Knock him out within 5 or 6 rounds. Where was he getting that sort of power from? He was doing something that Pascal couldn't do, something that Joe Smith Jr. couldn't do. Don't get it. Don't get it. Do you know, it's funny. In boxing history, it's not been the first time that a top fighter, well-established fighter, people are blowing smoke up their ass, that they start coming out with stories like, oh, he can move up to heavyweight and he can do this. The minute I started hearing that stuff about him and Usyk, I knew, no. It's fanatical. You've got to get to the cruiserweight division. You've got the bridgerweight, and you've got to beat the heavyweight. You got the bridgerweight champion. You're telling me that you think Canelo can beat the bridgerweight champion, which is Oscar Rivas? I don't think so. I don't think so. Are you telling me that you think that Canelo could beat Lawrence Okoli with that big right hand and that long jab? Oh, come on. I don't think so. People got to stay in their lane and recognize greatness. James Toney, although, you know, he was a great fighter, great defensive ability to roll, connect, great fighter. Roy Jones Jr. went up to heavyweight, did the business there, all right? But he picked his opponents. Why they went for Bivol, whoever advised him to go and fight Dimitri Bivol, was a bad mistake. It was not a bad night at the office, bro. Not a bad night at the office. It's just somebody who technically, if you can't see that Dimitri Bivol is not a better boxer, you don't know boxing. I'm sorry. You don't know boxing. Go and look at Bivol's record. Go and look at his resume. The 19 or 20 fights he's had, look at the opposition and the guys he's beaten. It's not a bad day at the office. That's nonsense. That's crap. It's not a bad day at the office. Bivol is just a very good fighter and fighting light heavyweights. So you're talking about a guy now who may walk around 200 pounds, yeah? Might walk around 200 pounds naturally, yeah? And he's coming down and fighting 175 pounds. Yeah, this is not a bum. This is a guy who legitimately, as I've said, is the best light heavyweight in the world. He hasn't fought Beterbiev yet, but I believe he beats Beterbiev. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll keep on saying it. The best light heavyweight in the world. That's it, because you look at his resume, look at who he's fought, look at who he's beat. He didn't beat guys that were out of their prime. Joe Smith is now a WBO champion of the world, right? He's WBO champion of the world. Bivol beat him. Most of the guys you see walking around the light heavyweight division, people talking about, Bivol's beating them. Isaac Chilembe, who's been on our channel, a regular, who doesn't like Bivol particularly very much, beat him. Yeah? Bivol beat Chilembe as well. So it's not about discrediting one guy because your prediction went wrong or it went south, but to actually giving the other guy credit. And that's the problem with boxing. Not giving people credit, not going back and looking and saying, you know what, I just did a copy and paste there. John said it, so I'll follow it. Study boxing, watch fighters, watch what they do in their weight categories. Then you go back and look at the guys Canelo's fought, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and look at who was their best wins. Who was the best guy that they fought? Caleb Plant. Who was the best guy that he fought? But then you can go and look at Bivol. The champion is Smith. And I rate Smith. I like Smith. I think he's improving all the time. And he's got a good shot of beating Beterbiev as well. Beterbiev is aging. I think it's a tough fight, mate. I think it's a tough fight. At light heavyweight, I think that's a tough fight. I don't know if Kawasaki wins that. Because that Kawasaki can't come in and overall and just throw a load of punches at Bivol like that. Remember, Kawasaki got dropped by Roy Jones Jr., a faded Roy Jones Jr., and he got dropped by Bernard Hopkins. Billy Joe beat nobody at 168. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. So when we talk about, sorry, let me get this down here. Oh, come on. Oh, my mouse is deciding to mess up on me tonight. My mouse is playing the fool tonight with me. Let's see if we can get this now. There we go. Yeah. Well, when we're talking about fighters and what they've done and their legacy, and we talk about Canelo being a great fighter, are you telling me you think Canelo would have beaten Sugar Ray Leonard? Are you going to sit and tell me that? Come on. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. It's just, I just think when you blow smoke at people's asses and you overhype people, you don't put people in their spot, in their place. They get put in their place. I was just thinking, Eubank Jr. versus, you see now we go back down a level. Eubank Jr. cannot beat Bivol. No day, no week, no month, no year. He does not beat Bivol, right? First of all, Chris Eubank Jr., who's his best win? Eubank Jr. is going to be relying on brute force strength to come forward and try and outslug Canelo. So it's whether he's got the physical strength to push Canelo back and keep him on the back foot. And remember, Canelo's going to be throwing shots as well. You're looking at Eubank's boxing ability versus Canelo. Yeah, if Eubank cannot physically bully Eubank cannot physically bully Canelo. He's got a problem, and I don't think he can. Well, I guess you're the man who also said that Bivol cannot beat Canelo, right? So Canelo can be beaten. It's a way to beat Canelo, and you beat Canelo using the jab. Beat Canelo using the jab. Kovalev showed you that. Roberto Duran versus Canelo. Who wins? Come on, bro. Roberto Duran. I mean, he did well. He fought a super middleweight, but come on, bro. Duran's real, and that was a faded Duran at that time, you know? No, bro, not Duran. Not Duran. Not Duran. Hats off to Canelo, daring to be great. Well, would you, for him to dare to be great, would you say that Bivol was great? Okay, let's put it in perspective. People would say that Bivol's a 20-fight novice. All right? But Eubank is the same guy who lost to Billy Joe Saunders. Okay, and what's your point? I didn't bring up the Eubank Jr. versus Canelo. He'd have been better off going back down to super middleweight and fighting Eubank Jr. To be honest. Yeah, take that fight at super middleweight as well, not middleweight. Fight at super middleweight. You see, you've been given, I've said this before. I mentioned this before. I think I did it in a show recently. I talked about fighters fighting in patterns, and usually you get a blueprint. Before a fighter gets beat, you get a blueprint as to how to beat that fighter. And the blueprint was laid by Sergey Kovalev. Yeah, a shot faded Sergey Kovalev. Because nobody can tell me that Kovalev was in his prime when he fought Canelo. He wasn't. And that was a Kovalev that was absolutely shattered from fighting the yard fight. And he took the fight, what, 10 weeks later, something like that? Something stupid like that. So back-to-back training camp straight in. So Kovalev, and we know Kovalev is not dedicated anyway, with all the drinking stuff. So, and he was beating Canelo with a jab. Bivol jab, Canelo head off tonight. Yeah, but it's not the first time his head was getting jabbed. His head was getting jabbed off for Kovalev as well. And in my prediction, I said to you, look at the Kovalev fight. I said Bivol will jab even more, but Bivol will be throwing the right hand, which Kovalev didn't. If Kovalev had thrown the right hand, we probably would be talking about Canelo today, because Kovalev can actually punch. He's noted as a puncher. That's why they call him the Crusher. Charlo brothers. Well, no, I'm not sure, because I think I love Jamal. Jamal's one of my favorite fighters, yeah? But I don't think Jamal has earned the right to fight Canelo. He hasn't. He needs to fight somebody quality, and he needs to do it soon. And I love him. So, and the thing is, it's all right. Canelo fights in bursts, and it's okay. Like, I'll give you an example of a fighter Canelo reminds me of a lot of. I call him a weight bully. You remember Adrian Broner down at lightweight? Where he would box a certain way, he would allow you to maybe nick a couple of rounds, and then he'd come on late in fights. Physical strength, bully you, bash you about. When he went up to welterweight now, he tried that same stuff. But what happens in the time that he was taking a break and he would just wait, guys were physically stronger. So now you can't push them guys back. So like heavyweight now, you've got Canelo fighting a genuine light heavyweight, who's a smaller light heavyweight. So Canelo's going to beat him with quality boxing ability and have got a resume. Again, the guys he's fought and beaten. And he's not fought. He might be a small light heavyweight, but look at the guys he's beaten. Joe Smith is not a small light heavyweight, is he? John Pascal's not a small light heavyweight, is he? The list can continue. Look at that resume. Look at what he's done, and look how he's done it. So I would disagree with you there, because didn't Floyd beat Canelo, and then Canelo improved, as they said. So no, I disagree with you there. GGG dead in the water. Canelo going to try and run it back. Eddie losing both his pay-per-view kings. Glad, happy for him. Delighted. Absolutely delighted. Clown Eddie. I'm glad. I'm so happy. I'm delighted. I'm delighted that two BWTM fighters have beaten his cash cows. Yeah. You've got Bivol, who was a beat from BWTM. And you've got Usyk, was from BWTM. Isn't that something, huh? Isn't that something? I'm very happy. Eddie, wherever you are, love you. So yeah, I'm absolutely delighted. I'm over the moon, flipping delighted, absolutely delighted. Beautiful, lovely, great. So I'm happy. He was too snobbish. Not really. I just think that's what happens when you blow a smoke up a guy's ass. He wasn't. To me, he didn't seem like he was focused on the fight. But to me, I think he knew he was going to get beat. That's what I think. Because I think at the negotiating table, he didn't get what he was expecting. And he already locked into the fight with Bivol. Bivol must have switched up on him and said, "No, I ain't doing that. No, I ain't doing this. I'm the champion. So you're the challenger. So you're going to come up and take the title off me." Whereas I think guys like Saunders and Smith couldn't bargain the same way that Bivol did. That's what I think. That's what I think. And that's why he's like coming out about, "Oh yeah, Canelo's changed his diet now. He's become a vegan." Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Jermaine Taylor would get knocked out. Jermaine Taylor would get knocked out by Bivol and Canelo. What? Man, come on, man. You're showing yourself up here, man. Bro, bring up quality fighters, bro. Bring up quality fighters. How about James Toney versus Canelo? How about Roy Jones versus Canelo? How about Andre Ward versus Canelo? How about Joe Calzaghe versus Canelo? How about Carl Froch versus Canelo? How about those guys? That's a few already. How about those guys? How about those guys? How about Michael Nunn versus? How about Julian Jackson at middleweight versus Canelo? How about that? How about that fight? Canelo might chin Canelo might chin him, but Julian Jackson might knock him out clean. So don't know. But he's showing he's got a great chin, Canelo. One of the things when you move from a heavyweight, you move up from a lighter weight to heavier weight, you can see the punches coming. So you're able to roll your chin out of the way position from certain shots because you can see the shots coming. That's why those guys who move from like light heavyweight and they go and fight heavyweight, they can see the punches coming a mile off. They see the punches coming. So they don't get clipped the same way. And that's why when Hay fought Bellew, although he was injured and all the rest of it, couldn't get out of the way of the shots because, you got like light heavyweight moving up to heavyweight, still got that speed of hand and foot, if you get what I'm talking about there. But Canelo's not beating Bivol. He's not beating Bivol. I'm telling you, he's not beating Bivol. He can double his jab. He can triple his jab, right? He can come in just in pajamas. He's not beating Bivol. Stop it. Mike McCallum, Canelo. I don't know, Mike McCallum might give him problems. McCallum's a bad boy fighter. He worked the body and he's a body snatcher. I think it's a great fight, McCallum, Canelo. I think that's a great fight. Now we're talking boxing. Canelo needs double jab, Bivol body. Who won that fight? So yeah, I'm glad, I'm happy, I'm delighted, and yeah, as I said, Eddie, love you so much. Two of your cash cows got beat by two guys that we backed long ago, and it's nice, very nice to the zone, very nice to Matchroom. Karma, Eddie, karma comes back to bite you. Good. Loved it. And BWTM fans will know what I'm talking about. The old school fans will know what I'm talking about here. Ironic, though. Ironic. Bivol said he'd fight Canelo at 168 a few months ago. Wonder if Canelo tries to make the rematch at 168. Canelo's not in no position. Canelo's not in no position to be calling out and to take the fight at light heavyweight. You wanted to be a champion at light heavyweight, huh? Take the fight at light heavyweight. Bivol's not an idiot. Take the fight at light heavyweight. You got your ass kicked at light heavyweight, right? Come back and fight at light heavyweight. You thought you could win the title at light heavyweight. Come back and fight at light heavyweight. That's it. I hope Bivol brings his ass back to light heavyweight and beats his ass again. And now no more Canelo hype. Fantastic. I'm so happy. So delighted. You can all go back and tell Eddie as well that I'm delighted. I'm delighted. Absolutely delighted. So that's it from BWTM Sports. One thing you got to say about BWTM Sports, say what you want. Congratulations for the unthinkable. It wasn't unthinkable, bro. Yeah, mate, it was not unthinkable. He got his ass handed a jab in the Kovalev fight. It was not unthinkable. It wasn't unthinkable. Look at what he did against Joe Smith. Go and look at Bivol's. Look at his boxing ability. Forget these boxing media of the boxing writers and media, right? They're paid by the promoter. Go and actually study boxing. Go and study what Bivol was doing. No, what Kovalev was doing. And that was a Kovalev that was shot to bits. What he was doing with one hand. Not even two hands. One hand against Canelo. Go and look at that fight. I said in boxing, you usually get a wake-up call or a blueprint of how to beat a fighter just before they get beat. Now we've got it. Canelo McLennan. McLennan can box, bro. McLennan can box. No, I don't know. I don't know about that one. But he can box. He takes a good shot. But I don't know about the McLennan fight. All right, let me get out of here because I've done enough chomping. And yeah, go back and watch that Kovalev fight again. And then look at Bivol, who was throwing right hands, left hooks, straight jabs, straight right hands. Go and look at the Kovalev fight as a one-handed fighter. Go back and look at the fight and ask yourself one question. Why the hell did Kovalev not throw one right hand in that whole fight? And he's known as the crusher and he's a puncher. DIMITRY Bivol, sir, take a bow. You've earned your stripes. Take a bow. And yeah, take that fight with Canelo as soon as possible. Get an immediate rematch. Like Eddie likes immediate rematches. Get immediate rematch and kick his ass. So, congratulations. Congratulations once again to DIMITRY Bivol. And still, the WBA light heavyweight champion of the world. How does that sound, Canelo fans? And still. By the way, just before I finish, please do subscribe to our new channel. Thanks for watching as always. We appreciate you.